was a brother that spoke about Christianity. I said, you had a slave mentality in that title. You have a slave mentality if you're celebrating Thanksgiving. He said, well, you have a slave mentality if you believe a book that the white man gave you. And y'all remember I put in there, show me the source where the white man wrote the Bible, or the white man, many people, many people was going back and forth over that point in the comments. And he basically said, he clarified and said, well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I'm not saying about what's in the Bible, that he wrote what's in the Bible. I'm saying that the Bible, black people were introduced to the Bible by the white man, right? Because I went into the history. I think he said that because after he said what he said, I went into the history that shows that the Bible never enslaved black people, that Africans sold Israelites. They made deals with the Europeans. They negotiated. Then the Europeans traded the Africans for different goods and services, guns, spices, rum, wine. And that is what got black Americans onto cargo slave ships, not the Bible. Once they got here in America is where black people were indoctrinated on the plantation with the religion of Christianity. And I just want to clarify, because a lot of people, when you say you believe in the Bible, or, we're Israelites, we're God's chosen people, they look at it like, why is it that you're going back to a white man's religion, or there is no truth in the Bible, right? So I'm going to go into some books in a minute to just prove a point about, a lot of times we are filled with feeling about how we feel about a thing without actually reading or researching. And a lot of the sources, all the sources I'm bringing out, will not even be in the Bible to prove that Israelites were in West Africa. Okay, so, but the Christianity thing, right, Black Rain, our people wrote the Bible. Black people wrote the Bible. It's just a shame that when black people think about the Bible, they think about white Jesus, and they think about, other nations and Caucasian people being the people of the Bible, when all the people in the Bible were dark skinned. And so when it comes to Christianity, real quick, Christianity comes out of the Roman Empire. It comes out of the Roman Catholic Church. It comes out of the Byzantine Empire. Christianity is that belief of the Trinity. It's the belief of white Jesus. It's the belief of John 3:16 means everybody on the planet Earth. That's Christianity. God loves everyone. God, it doesn't matter who you are, what color you are. That's Christianity. Christianity is you must forgive. You know what a good example of Christianity is in the black community? Christianity in the black community, a good example is Dylan Roof. Y'all remember in South Carolina? Dylan Roof went into that church. And he was in that church while they were praying and doing all of these things. And then he pulled out an assault rifle and he unalived everybody in that church while they're begging for their lives. Now, part of that story is that the relatives of some of those people were forgiving Dylan Roof the same day. Like, before their loved ones' bodies were cold, they were forgiving Dylan Roof for what he had done. That's Christianity. That's not the Bible. But Christianity is, you got to forgive somebody, hit you upside your head. You got to turn around and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I forgive you. Don't worry about it." While you got a lump the size of a tennis ball on your head. That's Christianity. You're supposed to let bygones be bygones and let things go and just move on and be the bigger person. Or you're supposed to love everybody. And there is no hatred. There is no correction. There is no sternness in that thought process. That Christianity is a religion that is made from men. Christianity is separate. It's a religion made from men. I'm going to say that again. It's separate from what's actually in the Bible. So you'll be confused if you really start asking questions and reading the Bible compared to what you learn in a Christian church and what they say. And so I think a lot of people, just that little bit of information, a lot of people can't separate the Christian religion from what's inside the Bible. It's very hard for them to, you know, separate the two. It's always they're looking at it as one thing when it is not. And now I agree that what black people follow in the Christian church is way off. I agree with that. But I don't agree with a person saying we shouldn't believe the Bible. We should throw the Bible away. It's a book full of myths and fairy tales. It doesn't go with history. It's not a history book. I can't believe that because the proof is right there if you just search for it. So a lot of times we're filled with feeling how we feel about a thing without actually going and doing our due diligence and doing the research. You like, I'm the type of person where you can't come to me and parrot things, meaning a parrot hears shit that it hears from people talking, and then it goes and tells someone else. You can't come to me like that. You're going to have to show me a source. You're going to have to prove your stance. You know what I'm saying? Because I come up under great men, honorable men that have showed me, and all the questions I ever had have showed it by proving it that way, not just saying it, you know, not just saying like, because it sounds good to say, the Bible is a book full of myths. It sounds good to say, oh, the white man gave us that book. I've been hearing that my whole life. You know what I'm saying? But when I started to actually learn and apply myself, I realized like Christianity is a doctrine. It's a theology. It's a religion that our ancestors were indoctrinated with on the plantation. That you can't even get around that. And so I don't understand why Christians, you know, black Christians, why they don't even see that. You say, man, y'all, this was given to us on a plantation. They used to have white people sit inside of the congregation of black people and make sure the black pastor only taught a certain kind of doctrine. Couldn't really go into it. So if you're going to say the Bible ain't real, right? This is another thing that's going to hurt a lot of you blackity black Egyptian Pan-African people. Every major revolution of black people to fight for freedom was inspired by the Bible. I'll give you one, Nat Turner, inspired by the Bible. Wasn't inspired by the Book of the Dead. What's some other stuff they talk about? Wasn't inspired by, you know what is on the hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt. It wasn't inspired by no other philosophy, religion, or anything like that. So many people will say Nat Turner was a revolutionary because of what he did. And I agree. He's a pioneer in his beliefs in what he did. And it has never been done again or attempted again. But in order to even have a revolution, in order to even have that type of fight against your oppressor, you have to have something that gives you that type of energy where you could muster that type of energy. And that came from the Bible. Show me some revolution where they used a philosophy that just came from them, black people, where they used a philosophy that came from some, you know, some walls in West Africa or some holy book from some place. You can't. You understand? You can't show me that. You can't show me that. All of these belief systems that black people are in they don't have the propensity to muster that type of courage and bravery. They just don't. They don't have it. So there is a difference between Christianity, a man-made religion, and what's in the Bible, which is the records, the history, the prophecies of one group of people. They were called the Hebrew Israelites, okay? It's not a book that is for everybody, but everybody has hijacked the book and used it for their gain. Now, I say this, I tell people this also. The Bible has never lied. It just was put into the hands of a people who are liars. Remember that quote. The Bible has never lied. It was just put into the hands of a people who were liars.